All right. Welcome to another great episode of The Big Ticket Life, where my guests are doing life and business on their terms. They break the rules. They see the opportunities. They've had the struggles, but they've always remained focused on the goal, a life and business led by themselves on their terms, their way, unapologetically focused on their success and the success of those around them. And we celebrate that success here because we live the big ticket life. If you're going to live a big ticket life and do business in life on your terms, you got to do big things. It's that kind of discernment, that kind of focus, that kind of forward thinking that's so important if you're going to succeed in business today. And so you unlock fortune and freedom without all the stress that normally comes along with it. The things that make your life successful so you do life and business on your terms. All right. My guest today is actually, you have the honor of being the first lady of the Big Ticket Life podcast.
Really?
That's right.
That's right. Fun.
And I have more upcoming.
Oh, good.
And I'm so happy to have that.
Don't let me be the one and only, Jeff. Don't do it.
No. I could pass. The booking calendar's already got other amazing women in it. But for those who don't know, Jessica Stroud is the creator of the Lady CEO Initiative. Her mission in life is to help ladies become the CEOs of their lives. Jessica's a #1 best-selling author, speaker, and an accomplished business owner, which is why she's on this show. She's one of the top referred insurance agents in the Midwest. And this is like what just blows my mind. We're going to talk about this today. She averages over 500 referrals a year. And she teaches other business owners how to create that same level of massive amount of referral business, just like she does through her Referrals Without Asking Academy. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. So what people need to know right up front is Jeff and I are like friends. We're real friends.
We are like
so this will be a very comfortable flowing conversation, basically between two friends, two business owners that absolutely discuss ideas back and forth and help each other grow. So the privilege here today is that you basically get to listen in on one of our private conversations. Yeah, where the good stuff is.
Yeah, I love that. That's exactly what we're going to do today. So, I mean, first of all, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being awesome.
Sure.
For those who should know, so I coach other business owners, and I think it's always important to know that your coach is also investing in themselves. So on that note of listening in on a conversation, I am proud, excited to say Jessica is also my coach in Apex Executives program. So just wanted to throw that out there because I think that's really important to know who you're working with, where they get their inspiration and guidance from. And here you go. So we're on, I think we've got a pretty special episode for today.
So I love that you call it the big ticket life, because that means it's different for everyone. So different for everyone. And when I listen to my own intro, right, when you say all those things about me, or when I give my own intro, I think, oh my gosh, I want to be friends with her. Like, who's that? I want to be friends with her. And you call it living life on your own terms. How I call it to myself is I call my own shots. And
I like that.
And everyone defines success. That's right. Everyone defines success differently, whether how much money you make or where you live or how you live, right? So success for one is a big mansion, and then success for others are what we used to joke about, living in a van down by the river. That's like life goals now, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is.
So there's just this new awareness that I love, that I want to call my own shots. people don't necessarily want power over others anymore. They just want power over their own lives. And that's really what we're here to do, is call our own shots. And that's what the last 6 years, this whole journey for me has really been, is I want to call my own shots. I want to work. I want to go where I want to go. I want to do what I want to do. I want to work with who I want to work with. And that's where I've gotten in my life.
Yeah. I mean, I'm completely down with that. In the pre-show, let's show off one of your shots called success moments, January 10th. We were talking about cars.
Yeah.
And, for me, one of the things I'm working on is to kind of bring back my youth. There you are.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, you had a name for her?
Her name is Roxy.
Roxy. Love it.
So,
love it.
So Jeff and I have done an excellent job in our lives of spending time with other business owners and people that live even a bigger life than we do, because we like to be encouraged and challenged by them. So Jeff and I have several friends that drive really fancy cars, right? I'm in the Midwest. I live in Kansas City. So I call them really fancy, right? I don't know, luxury cars, whatever. And while I look at those Lamborghinis and whatever else that they have, I look at that and I'm like, I love that you love that. But I've never looked at a Lamborghini or a Lotus or any of that and went like, I need that in my life. And when I first saw this Jeep, I was like, I need this in my life. And I sent our own, Jeff and I's private friend and mentor, Ryan Stuman, I sent him a picture with me with it. And I said, I finally get it. Now I understand the whole car thing. Because this thing, I love this Jeep. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I say in my intro, we celebrate success. So I'm so happy you're sharing that.
But and that's a perfect example of, it looks different. Like this is like a $55,000 Jeep Wrangler, and it makes my heart just sing. Whereas somebody else, they're like, I would never drive that in my whole entire life. And so it's amazing how that just is a perfect example of doing life on your terms and doing what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. One of the car moves I'm looking to make, and I'm so happy through the connection we have in Apex. There's another great Apex executive that just joined, Coyote Customs. They do like driver classic cars. Well, for me, I want to bring back the happy days of my youth. I want my 1981 Camaro with Z28 with T-tops, but
what color?
Well, I had teal blue, but that was like the guy that fixed it and flipped it way back. That was like the Mako 199 paint job.
Okay,
I don't know if we'll go that. I might go like the classic white on white with blue stripe, or I might do like black and gold, which I kind of am partial to.
Could be. Well, that's like the Burt Reynolds car in the what was it?
Well, that was the Trans Am. Yeah,
right. It was black and gold,
black and
wasn't
gold.
it?
Yep, the Big Eagle.
Yes.
Yep,
oh, that's it. So. Jeff's getting a Cannonball Run car.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like for me, like I've driven the Lamborghinis and Ferraris. I've had those experiences, and for me, they're just uncomfortable. Like I'm a big guy, and I know I carry some extra weight, but that weight was standing. If it's not like, I just don't bend that way anymore, so I'm just not going to enjoy it. But that is what about really defining success. I'm glad we touched on it, because it does look different for everybody. It doesn't have to always be the big house. It doesn't always have to be what you see on Instagram. It can be your own thing. But we get there by really, running a business well. And I messaged you last night, like, I want to talk about your agency and why your mission and the values of that business have grown it to what it is. I mean, 500 referrals a year is just astounding to me.
Oh, we didn't get there overnight. And like, so while the entrepreneurs are here looking and seeing me and Jeff and talking about calling our own shots and all of that, we all know that that's not how it starts.
So right? Wait, you didn't just call one shot and get 500 referrals a year?
No, but I will tell you.
Let's hang up and go home.
My first year, I get over 300 referrals a year. And that's even still unbelievable for me to say that. So can I go ahead and dive into that?
Absolutely. Let's hear it.
Okay. Because what I want, here is what I want to be. Like, here's what I want to be to the world. I want other people to look at me and say, if Jessica can do it, I can do it. Right? Knowing where she came from, knowing what she went through, right? That's why I wrote a book. Because again, Jeff and I's friend and mentor, Ryan Stuman, said to me, Jess, you roll around like your life is sunshine and rainbows. And it's not. You've been through some stuff, right? It is now, right? But he's like, you've been through some stuff and people need to know it. You need to share the ugly parts that you had to go through to get here. And I was like, all right, because so many people on social media, they don't talk about the struggle, but I promise you the story is in your struggle, right? There is power in sharing it. So that is why I wrote a book, to talk about all that other stuff. But so when Jeff talks about that, I personally, receive 500 referrals a year. So what he's talking about is over the last 6 years, from 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, right? We're in 2022 now. So it's my 7th year, but 6 years in a row, starting in 2016, I have averaged over 500 referrals a year to my insurance business. And, it's not anything super exciting. It's not like for people who do roofs and people who do remodeling projects and people who do real estate and lending and mortgages and money and all that. That's interesting. Insurance is not interesting. Nobody wants to talk about that. And when I talk about that amount of referrals, it's, if you drop a pin in Kansas City, it's like a 60-mile radius of Kansas City. I only work in my local market. So it's not like I get referrals all throughout the United States. And so where all that started was I had a pharmaceutical sales job, and look, I was a legit drug dealer, right? Like, I know way too much about type 2 diabetes. I'm just gonna put that out there because that was the kind of drug that I had. But like so many entrepreneurs, I was just like, God, I'm dying in corporate America. I don't want to do this anymore. I've been doing it for a couple of years. And so I went to my husband, who was an insurance agent and had been for many years. We've been married for almost 18 years. Now, look, that's not my accomplishment. Okay. That is his accomplishment, because this can be a little dramatic sometimes. All right. So that's absolutely, God love him. That's his accomplishment. Okay. So that he would stay with me that long. But I went to him in late 2015 and I was like, good news, honey. Good news. I want to come and work with you in insurance, and I want to And he says, that's a problem. And I'm like, what? Okay. There's a glimpse into our marriage right there. I'm the crazy one. Everybody, I'm the crazy one. And if you're an entrepreneur, you better give some love and praise, continuous love and praise for your spouse, because we as entrepreneurs are crazy and they stay with us. Okay. So he said, that's a problem. You have a salary. You get quarterly bonuses. You carry the medical benefits for a family of 4, and you have a company car. If you leave, I have to buy you a car, and you like nice cars. So what happened was, like a lot of other entrepreneurs, we're a 2-income household. And so for me, just to be like, boom, peace out, no more drug sales for me, and just go into this other adventure, that wasn't happening. That was not going to happen. And so I ended up keeping that job until my pharmaceutical sales job for 9 months, until September of that year. And husband would have loved for me to kept it for a whole year, but I was really slacking on the pharmaceutical stuff, right? Because I'm building this insurance thing on the side. Like a lot of entrepreneurs, I was dual career, and then one of them started to suffer. And so I was kind of nicely asked to, hey, we would like for you to resign. And I'm like, all right. So even in that year, though, that very first year, I still received over 300 referrals. And it all starts, and look, I knew nothing about my product, right? So those of you who are dual career entrepreneurs who have a day job and you're building your gig on the side because you don't want to leave that full-time income because it's what's best for your family, and you know if you quit that job, your spouse won't sleep at night, you need to pat yourself on the back. I need you to be proud of that, because as difficult as it might be, You're doing what you need to do to take care of your family. And I don't want you to ever, ever be ashamed of that. You wear that as a badge of honor. But the second part is whatever you do or whatever you sell, that is literally just a product, right? That's the vehicle that gets you to where you really want to go. So I didn't leave pharmaceutical sales because I didn't like going to work every day. I left pharmaceutical sales because it did not facilitate. Being a corporate employee did not facilitate the life that I wanted to live. And I went to my husband and I said, we're going to build this insurance agency and we're going to build it so that it serves us, not us serving it.
That's what I call moving into the investor seat in your business.
Exactly. This business. Now, of course, the only reason, like, look, spoiler alert, the only reason why I receive as many referrals as I do is because I consistently pour into and provide value to other people. And in return, they send me referrals. So don't think I don't work. I absolutely do. But again, it's calling my own shot of who I want to work with, where I want to work, the team that I have, who do I want on my team. And because I had this vision of I want to create this business that serves me, I created a team around me and a culture in our company. Like my team, I tell them sometimes I'm your assistant. Like, what can I do to help you? Because they work so hard. Yep. But they see when I say I build this to fit my lifestyle, I build it to fit their lifestyle too. Like if your kid is sick or if you don't miss school parties. If you work for me, if you work on my team, if you're a member of my team and your kid has a school party, you're going to your kid's school party because your kid is in kindergarten to 5th grade for a very short time, right? And you need to go to those parties. But when my kids were that age, my boys are 12 and 13 now, but when I didn't miss school parties, I just didn't. I didn't do anything, right? You go to the school party, the moms will tell you kind of stand in the corner or whatever. And then my youngest son's last year, 5th grade, was when COVID shut everything down. You couldn't go to the school parties. And it was okay because I had been to all of the other school parties. So when I say a business that serves me, well, my marriage comes first, no matter what. Above everything else is my marriage. And then my kids, and then my dogs. Sometimes the kids and the dogs go back and forth between, just depending on who's doing what that day. And then the business comes after that. And so there's a hierarchy and everything flows up to support the hierarchy.
Yeah. I mean, I last week on our show, I talked with Matt Rhoda about I forget where we got on this, but we both kind of paused and almost said simultaneous. If the greatest thing you're doing every day isn't your family or for your family, you need to recheck your motivation of things.
So last year, you and I've had these conversations. So last year, I did a lot of traveling. And I love to travel, right? I love to travel. But last year's travel was different, right? I wrote a book. I created a program. I was traveling around. I was honored to be invited to speak at so many different events. And I was honored to be asked to come and privately train certain companies and real estate teams. But then towards the end of last year, I looked back and I'm like, I've been in 14 cities. And Dallas doesn't count, right? Jeff and I go to Dallas about once a month to meet up with our business group. Dallas doesn't count. Dallas counts as one.
There's a trip to Dallas coming around all the time.
Yeah,
always on the calendar.
Dallas counts as one of the 14 cities. And I stopped and I told my husband, I've been in 14 cities this year. And I feel like I'm living this dream of being on stage and being a speaker and all that. And it's not fitting. And I literally said to him, I'm ready for the Jessica Stroud show to come off the road. Because it was taking me away from what I really wanted. It was taking me away from it. Now, I missed a few ball games here and there. Didn't miss a whole lot. Not really worried about that. But when I came home, I kind of felt disconnected. I'm like, everything I do is supposed to bring me closer to what I want to do, which is sitting on the beach with my husband, drinking fresh pineapple juice. And this is not necessarily getting me closer to that. Right. So I did have to reevaluate. So and the thing that Jeff and I are really good at is we go after something and then we evaluate, how does this fit? Does this fit? is this fitting into the life that I want to create? And if the answer is no, we get rid of it. We get rid of it because it's your life and you get to design it the way you want to design it.
That's right. I mean, as an example of living out what Jessica just shared, just yesterday, we have a small health and fitness show at one of the local health and fitness clubs. It's a twice a year open house for them. We normally go and have a little booth, and either I or my business partner are there representing the company. This time it's March 5th, which is the day after our Dallas executives meetup. And it's just too much. So I reached out to the organizer. I said, look, there's just a lot going on. And I have to pull out because my son, he's in his senior year of high school bowling. And I'm already missing the prior weekend for the big Philadelphia Home and Garden show. I'm not going to miss two. I'm just
That's
not.
right.
This kid is poised to wrap up the season in a moment of greatness. I can see it coming. You can feel it coming. I'm not going to miss two. Like, it's just not going to happen. So we worked out a plan to make it work. And I think it's perfectly okay to go to your network, to go to your circle and just say, look, this is what I've got going on. This is why it's important. How can you help me? And then likewise, if you've got that strong circle, they're going to come to you. On that note, we had a comment. Somebody said, love that the story is in the struggle. I kind of circle back to that with a moment from coaching youth football, where one of my fellow coaches, great guy, Paul, he had this line that I took and all the other coaches took. And we would ask the kids, like, are you just icing or are you cake? Are you really doing the work, or are you just putting on a show? Like, do you just want to wear the jersey on Fridays at school like we say you should, but you don't come out on game day and play? You need to be out here getting muddy, getting sweaty, doing the work. You can't just throw the jersey on Friday, and we were coaching 11 and 12-year-olds. So they were kind of getting into that girl age, right? And, we said, you just can't be showing off. You've got to be doing the work, right?
You gotta live the life.
Yeah, you got to be into it.
You gotta walk the walk.
So you said consistently,
yeah,
you lean in, you pour in, you give value to those around you, which is really the secret. It's really the secret of your success for all of the referrals. So what does that look like for the people that you network with, the people in your syndicate, the people that wake up with Jessica Stroud on their mind?
Well, that sounds a little weird because I'm hoping there's only one person in the world that wakes up with me on their mind, and that's
Jessica Stroud for insurance.
But I want to put a pin real fast in what Jeff was saying, because not only did he go to the event organizer and say, hey, man, I can't miss this. It's my kid's thing. What do you think his kid thought? What do you think his son thought? Because I know Jeff and his wife talked about it. I know his son knows his son's old enough. He knows what's going on.
Yep.
And Jeff isn't just lip service. He didn't just say to his boys, you're a priority. He showed them their priority. There was a similar situation where there was something with my son and I was supposed to go to this sleepaway camp, and this adult sleepaway camp. It was going to be awesome. It was in Atlanta. I'd got tickets, and it was going to be amazing adventure, because adventure is one of my culture pillars. And my son comes home about 4 days before, and he says, I made it into the spelling bee. 20 kids out of a school of 500 make it into the spelling bee. And I said, great, so excited. When is it? And he said, it's Friday. And first I'm thinking, you can't give these parents more notice, whatever, right? And I said, oh, that's when I'm supposed to leave for Atlanta. I said it to him. I wasn't even thinking. And he goes, oh, so you can't come, right? And I said, no, I'll be there. I will be there. No problem. I will figure it out and I will be there, but you are the priority. Yep. And you can run your mouth all you want. And so that's what Jeff and I lean into this a lot, is you can live one life on social media and just be a complete train wreck off of social media. And so we don't just sit here and preach about, oh, family first, family first. We live it. And when you live that, there are people that come to us and say, teach me how to have a business and how to have a life. Teach me how to do that, right? Because that's the life that we're living. So to go back to the question of basically, why do people send me referrals, right? There are two things that I do. I don't enter into a relationship that isn't mutually beneficial. Oh my goodness. Okay. We're going to get some, and don't at me about that. Okay. If I can't help you grow your business or bring some kind of value to you, we're not going to be friends. However, on the flip side, if it has to be mutually beneficial. So I don't allow a lot of takers in my life. If you want to be in my circle, you got to bring some value, right? And so for years in the insurance agency, it was, I will help you grow your business. I will help you have a better marriage. I will help you be more present with your children, right? Because that's the life I'm living. I can teach you to do what I do. FYI. Don't trust people to give you advice that aren't doing what you want to do. Basically, don't take marriage advice from divorced people. Don't take financial advice from broke people. Don't take fitness advice from people who are not fit. Don't ask me how to eat a clean diet because I'm still trying to tell myself brownies are sometimes food, right? But I know Jeff's talking about cake, and I'm like, dang, I want cake. No, there's a lesson here. Don't talk about cake. Don't the cake, right? But
brownies at one point had eggs in them, which are good. They had milk,
flour,
which is good.
Milk, eggs and milk are good.
That's sugar and chocolate.
So I started out on the path of how do I help other people grow their businesses? And one of the most powerful things that I did was I created basically my own little business syndicate. If you are, right, because I work locally, I'm not trying to be all over the United States. I work locally. If you are a business owner, you need to have a syndicate of other business owners. You need to have other business owners that you spend time with and that you bring knowledge to. I'm not saying you got to coach them or whatever, but you need to. So for me, I spent time with other business owners, which meant I had to read books. I had to take courses, right? I spend a lot of time with realtors and mortgage lenders. I studied how to grow real estate businesses and how to grow mortgage businesses more than I studied how to grow an insurance business, because I knew if I could help, it's the whole, you help other people get what they want and you will get what you want.
I want to just pause and I want to pause and say it again, because it was a moment of genius, and it speaks to the consistency and constancy of things that equal the result that Jessica gets and can share with you and show you and teach you if you decide to connect with her after this show. But her first metric of talking to anybody, having somebody in her circle, is how can Jessica grow their business? What can she dump into you? What can she give to you first? And of course, there has to be reciprocity, but I think that is so smart to have that mutually beneficial guidance in place, with you saying first, how can I help you grow? I think it's so very smart. Like, as an example, you said about being in a syndicate of business owners. This morning, I live what anymore is becoming 45 minutes from my store because of growing in traffic. It used to be 11 years ago, it was 27 minutes. I could time it to the second. Anymore, it's 40, 45 minutes. I digress. I drove to this meeting this morning for a 7:30 meeting. So it's an hour and a half to an hour and 20-minute round trip to spend 45 minutes with this group of great business owners, because it's important. It's important that I fill that seat and represent our company and what I'm there to do for them. Normally, my business partner, Ben, covers it because he lives 5 minutes from the place, but he's away on vacation. And I could have easily said, hey, guys, everybody would agree That's kind of ridiculous. We love you, Jeff. Skip it. But I don't skip out on the people who I count on.
Yeah.
So I just had to like remind people listening that you start by first looking at the potential partner to refer of how can I be impactful to that business? I love that.
So I'm everything that I do. So I created an academy. It's called the Referrals Without Asking Academy. And everything that I do starts online, right? And that's why it's called Referrals Without Asking, because I don't go around saying, gimme, 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 like gimme, gimme, gimme. Yep. And it's real telling when people do it to me. It's like, whoa, I just kind of step back for a minute. I'm like, oh my goodness, right?
It's a real uncomfortable thing, isn't it?
Is that how people come across? So with my insurance business, there's someone who wants referrals from the insurance business, right? Like a restoration person. And she's always coming at me with like, gimme, gimme, gimme. And finally I had to stop last week and be like, what is in this for me? Like my clients are already taken care of. We already have a company that we work with. There's no pain point here, but you're basically constantly sliding in saying, give me, give me, give me. You got to stop with that. What's the benefit for me? And I know some people will be like, oh my gosh, how could you say that? It sounds terrible. No, it doesn't, because she consumes my content. She comes to my events locally. She is always like, oh, I learned so much from you. I just love being around you. And it's like, but you're not providing value in return. So if I were her and I wanted my business, I'd sure find some way to provide some value for me. But so many people have their head down and it's like, gimme, gimme, gimme. The part that I am most proud of is the consistency, because as entrepreneurs, we get bored. We get bored so easily, don't we? We get bored of our own stuff. We get bored of our own marketing, even if it's working. We get bored of our own houses and spaces and buildings, and we get bored and we want to go and do other things. So I'm no different, right? Shiny squirrel, where's it at? So for me to sit here and say what I do on social media and what I teach people through the Referrals Without Asking Academy is, I'm so proud of it because it produces consistent results. And consistency for me, I mean, it's everything. I don't wake up at the beginning of every month and go, I wonder where my next client's coming from. I wonder where the next family is that we're going to serve. I don't wake up at the beginning of the year and say, oh, I wonder if I'm going to still have a 500 referral a year average this year. I just don't, because of what I do on a consistent basis with my social media and then also off social media. I'm so consistent with it. I don't have to worry about it. But consistency is crazy if you'll just find something and stick with it.
Yep. That goes back. I mean, I use the words consistency and constancy together, like in lockstep with each other. A lot of people sometimes use them interchangeably. To me, the consistency is I'm going to focus on the goal and I'm going to constantly look for ways to achieve the goal, reinforce the goal, act on the goal, make it happen, right? So I use to break that down further. I say Jessica is consistently happy and she's constantly cutting out things in her life that don't make her happy and constantly adding things that do. Right. And I think through that lens, it really opens up people's eyes to really focus in, so you get these referrals. You're doing and I think the people want to know the one thing. Well, we've shared it. The one thing is you look for that mutually beneficial relationship where you can give to grow that person's business and it comes back. Let me ask you this question. How do you treat that referral when you get it? What's that look like?
So in the beginning, it grew very quickly and I had to create systems. I had to look and say, how does this look from the client side? Right. So we have a template and listen, here, I'm going to tell you this too. If you want people to send you referrals, you have to make it easy for them to send you referrals. I have a template that I send to people and say, hey, this is how I need you. And again, you're going to say, wow, she tells people how to send her business. Absolutely. Because I've earned that when I serve at such a high level. They say to me, how does this work best for you? So I have a template that my referral partners use. There's a specific website that they will send people to, right? They'll connect us through email. Then my team will jump on and help the client and say and get everything that we need so that they can get the quote. And it's a very specific process that every client goes through, because I took the time to create, through trial and error, to create the funnel. And so now everyone comes in the funnel. Now, of course, there are certain referral partners that come in. They don't want to go through the funnel. They want me to personally call everybody. And I have to be honest and say, that's not happening. I'm not going to do that. I have a whole team that's going to love on these people and take care of these people. You don't want me getting involved with it anyway, because I'm going to mess it up.
Amen. Amen, sister.
And it was hard in the beginning where people would be like, hey, I want you to call them. And I had to say, that's not how this works. And it sounds like people are like, oh my gosh, sounds like such a bitch. No, because I serve at such a high level, I get to say that. But also, it makes it easier for my referral partners. They know how to start it. They know how to put people into the funnel. And then they know what the expected outcome is going to be. They know the phases and the outcome, because so that they can get what they want on the end, on the end of the transaction. Mm-hmm.
I have the same thing. And for you listening, like, okay, you've got two successful business owners here saying the same thing. If you did a freedom of information request, this was not planned. This was not scripted. I do the same thing. People want to work with Jeff in the store. I say, well, first of all, I'm there Mondays and Fridays. And there's a 1 hour window from 3 to 4 on a Monday where I can be available to you. Because every Monday we do our show podcast. We're doing the team meeting, the week review stuff before that. There's a little time block for partner meetings, vendor meetings in there. Friday, kind of the same thing. There's a little wider window, but that's it. But I tell people, listen, my team is better at helping you because they are put in a position to help my customers get a 5-star experience 7 days a week, 63 hours of retail hours every week, week in, week out. That's their focus. My focus is to help them help you. And like you said,
you don't even want me looking at your insurance bill and trying to help you. I got nothing.
I'm going to mess it up. They are better.
They are. And they will call me out on my stuff like, hey, it was a powerful thing a couple of years ago when I realized it and the team realized it, that the biggest impact I can make for the company is to continue doing what I do and bring in the referrals at a high level. The team doesn't want to have to call on leads or make cold calls or worry about if they're going to have any jobs. So they tell me, why are you here? You need to go and be serving people and have lunch with people, because that comes downhill to them. And you just, we talk about wanting to call your shots, and this is terrible in the insurance industry, right? You're taught to be everything to everyone, and you need to know every single client, and you need to know all of their birthdays. Listen, the clients don't necessarily want that. They just want to be taken care of. When they need something, they want to need something. And tell me how that's great customer service if I'm here with you and somebody has a billing question, or I'm out lunch, or I'm teaching a class, or I'm somewhere doing something and somebody's at the DMV and they need proof of insurance so they can renew their car tags, and I'm on a plane somewhere and I can't get it for them. That's terrible customer experience. So I had to look at it from the customer side and go, they don't really care who gets it for them. I just have to make sure that somebody is. And so it is a limiting mentality. So many entrepreneurs and business owners hold themselves back by thinking, here's the deal. You think you are way more important than you are. You think you are the only person that can handle it. You are not. And you are holding yourself back. And our mutual friend, Sammy Knight, actually said to me one morning at breakfast, he said, you are holding your company back. If that's how you're doing it, there was something that I was still doing. And he said, you're holding your company back and you're holding yourself back. That's benefiting no one. And I was like, oh man, he's so right.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's not scalable. It's not scalable. How are you ever going? It's not scalable. And because I know where my place is in my company, I have space. I have warm, safe place that people get to come and work every day and shine their light and take care of their families, because I am not trying to do everything on my own. I have created jobs for other people because I know what's best for me to do in my company, and I stay in my own lane.
Yeah. I mean, moving into that investor seat, running your business like you're sitting on the board of a big, big company, that is the way. If you're going to hold on to a business and not grow it to scale it and sell it, if you're going to keep it as a thing that produces lifestyle freedom, money in your bank account, you are obligated to do more of that investor-like action, because you create better customer experience and satisfaction. You create more jobs and opportunity for the people that you're providing for. And I think everybody really needs to get absolute clarity on that. So as we wrap up, because you're a busy lady, you've got another time commitment. We've got 3 minutes left.
Okay. I'm
going to share. So I recently kind of sharpened iron with iron on our mission as a result of listening to one of my other guests, James Emerson, who you know. His mission changed the way his customers feel about contractors. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what we're trying to do. So that's our mission. I mean, we've had a mission, but it was a mission that others could say they might be able to live up to it. But now when we say we're going to change the way you feel about mattress stores, and that means that involves every single step of the process, it's massive accountability and it requires massive commitment. That's what keeps me focused. That shiny syndrome goes away. So for you, your number one mission with what you're doing with your Lady CEO business, let's wrap up on that.
Okay. It's an initiative. I want people to be able to call their own shots. I want them to live a life where they make the decisions, whatever those decisions are. And it's not just the lady CEO. Be the CEO of your life. Mm-hmm. For me, that means even before I started all this, I knew that I wanted to have adventure with my children. So my husband and I decided it's a core value of this family. We have adventures.
Love it.
And when we go on, we don't call them vacations. I call them adventures. When we leave town and we go on an adventure, we know it's not always going to be incredible, right? It's not always going to be the best vacation ever. Even when we went to Disney, we were on a Disney cruise, wasn't the best vacation ever, right? And now my boys at 12 and 13 will say, well, but that'll make a good story, Mom. Or, well, but the good news about this is, or, yeah, that didn't go right, but let's talk about this over here because that went right. I need you to look at every single thing in your life. And I need you to decide, is it really what you want? And I'm even talking about, maybe there's a mom that her job is to raise kids, right? She doesn't work outside the home, which God bless you, because that would drive me crazy. What are the things in your life? Because you're the CEO of your family. You are absolutely the CEO of your family and of your children. I want you to look at the activities on your kids' schedule. I want you to look at the things happening in your business. I want you to look at your finances. I want you to look at the people around you. That can be a tough one. And I want you to decide if they fit into the lifestyle that you want to live.
Yep. Love it. This was like jam-packed. I feel like we crammed about 90 minutes.
That's what you and I do.
Minutes. Yeah, I know.
That's what we do.
We come down, roll up the sleeves and get to work and drop value into people. So if you loved what Jessica said, and I can't see how you wouldn't, connect with her, If you're watching this on any of the social channels as the show, all the links are right there, easy for you to click. If you're catching this as an audio podcast, you can connect with Jessica in the show notes. The same with myself. All of her socials have been going across the screen. She's on Facebook and Instagram. Jessica Stroud, the Lady CEO. Jessica, this was great. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Jeff.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Well, go kick ass on that next appointment.
I will.
All right. And we'll see y'all next week on the Big Ticket Life.
Bye.
If you're going to live a big ticket life and do business in life on your terms, you got to do big things. It's that kind of discernment, that kind of focus, that kind of forward thinking that's so important if you're going to succeed in business today. And so you unlock fortune and freedom without all the stress that normally comes along with it. The things that make your life successful so you do life and business on your terms.